There is a country in the heart of Europe where grown adults will stand perfectly still at an empty crosswalk at 2 in the morning, waiting for a little green man to tell them it is safe to cross a road that has absolutely zero cars on it. Where your neighbors will knock on your door with the energy of a disappointed parent if you run your washing machine at the wrong hour. Where Sundays feel like the entire country quietly agreed to cease existing. And the wildest part? Every single person there thinks this is completely, totally, 100% normal. Hi, my name is Noah, and this is German Memories. The street and public space rules. Rule 1. You wait at the crosswalk, always. This is the first thing that shocks every single visitor, and honestly, it never really stops being remarkable. Stand at any intersection in any German city, at any hour of the day or night, and you will find people waiting patiently for the pedestrian light to turn green. It does not matter if the street is empty. It does not matter if you can see clearly for half a kilometer in both directions, and there is not a single vehicle in sight. You wait. Jaywalking exists technically, but socially, it carries the weight of a minor public scandal. Cross too early and a stranger might actually say something to you. Not aggressively, just firmly, disappointed almost, like you personally let them down. And the reason runs deeper than blind rule following. Children are watching. Always. Germans take the idea of modeling behavior for the next generation with a seriousness that most cultures reserve for matters of national security. Rule 2. You register your address every single time you move. Within 2 weeks of moving into a new home, Germans are legally and socially required to register their address with the local authorities. This is called Anmeldung, and it is mandatory. No Anmeldung means no bank account, no phone contract, no gym membership, no functioning life in any meaningful administrative sense. For newcomers, it can feel like the government is asking you to fill out paperwork just to prove you exist. For Germans, skipping it would be like forgetting to breathe. It is simply part of the process of being a person who lives somewhere. File the form, get the stamp, continue existing. Simple. Rule 3. You keep to the right on escalators. Stand on the left side of a German escalator and you will feel it immediately. Not shouting, not pushing, just a very particular quality of silence behind you that somehow communicates absolute displeasure. The left side is for walking, the right side is for standing. This is not posted anywhere official. Nobody voted on it. It simply is and has been for as long as anyone can remember. Mess it up once and you will never do it again. Some rules write themselves into your muscle memory through social consequence alone. The noise and time rules. Rule 4. Quiet hours are sacred, non-negotiable, possibly eternal. Germany runs on Ruhezeit, which translates to quiet time, and the concept is taken with a seriousness that visitors find genuinely startling. Generally speaking, after 10 at night and before 7 in the morning on weekdays, noise is expected to be kept to a minimum. On Sundays, quiet hours stretch across the entire day. Drilling, vacuuming, mowing, hammering. Even Satizanita, particularly enthusiastic cooking sounds. All of it becomes a social offense during these windows. Move into a German apartment building, and this information will find you whether you seek it out or not, usually via a politely worded but unmistakably firm note slipped under your door. Rule 5. Sundays do not exist for productivity. This one deserves its own category because the German Sunday is genuinely unlike anything else in the developed world. Shops close, construction stops, lawnmowers stay in garages. The streets take on a quality of stillness that newcomers often describe as unsettling, before they eventually call it the best thing they have ever experienced. The Ladenschlussgesetz, the shop-closing law, has protected Sunday as a day of rest for generations. You cannot run errands. You cannot power through your to-do list. You are forced, by cultural agreement and actual legislation, to stop. Rest, breathe, be a human being rather than a productivity machine. Honestly, the rest of the world should take notes. Rule 6. Midday rest is also a thing. Just when you thought the quiet rules were contained to evenings and Sundays, Germany introduces the Mittagsruhe, the midday rest. Typically running from around 1 in the afternoon until 3, this is another window where noise-making activities are frowned upon in residential areas. Drill a hole in your wall at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and you may well find yourself in a conversation you did not plan to have. For Germans, this is simply how dense urban living stays livable. For newcomers, it is the moment they realize that Germany has divided the clock into more categories of silence than they previously thought possible. Rule 7. Unwritten, daily, religiously. In winter, too. There is a word in German, unwritten, which means the act of airing out a room by throwing the windows wide open for a short, concentrated burst of fresh air. Germans do this every single day, without exception. Even in January. Even when it is snowing. Even when everything about the situation suggests that opening a window is madness. The logic is perfectly sound. German homes are built to be airtight and energy efficient, which means moisture and stale air accumulate fast. So instead of leaving windows cracked all day and burning through expensive heating, people blast the room with fresh air for 5 to 10 minutes, then seal everything back up. It is efficient. It works brilliantly. Watching a German open every window in their apartment in the middle of a snowstorm with complete calm is one of the more uniquely memorable experiences available to visitors. Rule 8. Shoes come off at the door. Walk into a German home wearing your outdoor shoes, and you will sense the shift in energy before anyone says a word. Outdoor shoes carry the street with them. The street belongs outside. Inside is clean. These are simply Badpacks. Most German households either have a clear collection of guest slippers waiting near the entrance, or they operate on a socks-only basis once you cross the threshold. Nobody is going to cause a scene about it. They will just hand you the slippers with a smile that very gently communicates that this is not optional. Rule 9. The staircase cleaning rota is law. In German apartment buildings, shared spaces are maintained through a system called Hausordnung, the house rules. That system typically includes a rotating cleaning schedule for staircases, hallways, and communal areas. Every resident takes a turn. The schedule is posted, usually somewhere visible and inescapable. Missing your week can quietly define your entire relationship with every neighbor in the building for years to come. Germans take shared responsibility for shared spaces with an earnestness that is, once you understand it, genuinely admirable. The building is everyone's. Therefore, everyone cleans the building. The logic is airtight. The social etiquette rules. Rule 10. Punctuality is not a personality trait. It is basic respect. Arrive late to a social engagement in Germany, and you will discover very quickly that fashionably late is not a concept that translates. Being late communicates, regardless of intention, that your time is worth more than the other person's. Germans do not dramatize this or make a speech about it. They simply note it, file it, and adjust their opinion of your reliability accordingly. Arriving too early, by the way, is also a problem. If you show up 10 minutes before you are expected and your host is not ready for you, that is equally inconsiderate. The goal is simple and somewhat demanding. Arrive exactly when you said you would. Not before, not after.
Rule 11. Eye contact during a toast is mandatory. Raise a glass in Germany and make absolutely sure you look the other person in the eyes when the glasses meet. This is not a casual suggestion. Failing to make eye contact during a toast is widely considered bad luck, and more pressingly, bad manners. It signals distraction, disinterest, or a general failure to be present in the moment. Germans take the ritual of the toast seriously because it is a moment of genuine acknowledgement. You are saying with eye contact that the person in front of you has your full attention. In a culture that values directness and sincerity, looking away at that precise moment is the wrong move. Do not do it. You have been warned.
Rule 12. Never wish someone a happy birthday before the day. This one stops nearly every foreigner cold the first time they encounter it. In Germany, wishing someone a happy birthday before the actual day is considered bad luck. Not mildly frowned upon. Genuinely, superstitiously bad luck. No early messages, no premature cake, no getting ahead of schedule out of enthusiasm or logistical convenience. You wait until the day itself, and when the day arrives, do not expect to simply show up and be celebrated either. In many German workplaces, the person whose birthday it is brings cake for everyone else. The honoree becomes the host. If you are reading this from outside Germany, I completely understand your confusion. It does, somehow, make sense once you live there. The food and drink rules. Rule 13. Bread is not a side dish. Bread is a commitment. Germany has over 3,000 officially recognized varieties of bread. That number is not a typo, and it is not an exaggeration. 3,000. Dense dark rye loaves, soft pretzels, crusty sourdough rolls that shatter satisfyingly when you bite into them. Thin crisp breads, thick farmhouse loaves. Bread here is cultural heritage, protected by UNESCO and taken seriously in the way that other nations take their national anthems seriously. Arguments about which local bakery produces the superior Brötchen can become surprisingly heated. And the German breakfast or evening meal, the Abendbrot, which literally translates to evening bread, is often simply that. Bread, cold cuts, cheese, and pickles. Visitors expecting a hot dinner are sometimes deflated. Germans consider it perfection. Rule 14. Spargel season stops the country. Every spring, something remarkable happens in Germany. White asparagus appears in markets, and the country collectively loses its mind in the best possible way. Spargel season, running roughly from late April through June, is not simply a time when asparagus is available. It is an event. Restaurants restructure their menus around it. Families plan meals for it. Roadside stands appear overnight selling fresh stalks by the kilogram. The obsession is so total, so earnest, so gloriously disproportionate to what is, at the end of the day, a vegetable, that first-time visitors sometimes wonder if they have accidentally arrived during a national holiday. In a way, they have. Rule 15. Cash is not old-fashioned. Cash is principled. Germany is one of the wealthiest nations on earth, and also one of the most committed to physical cash in daily transactions. Cards are increasingly accepted, yes, but the preference for Bargeld, cash, runs deeper than habit. It is philosophical. Every digital transaction leaves a trace, a record, a data point collected, stored, and potentially used by corporations or governments in ways the individual cannot fully control or predict. Germany's complicated 20th century history created a population with a particularly acute sensitivity to surveillance and data collection. Cash is anonymous. Cash is yours. What looks like stubbornness to outside observers is looked at more carefully. A very conscious and historically informed choice about personal freedom. The work and money rules. Rule 16, Feierabend, is non-negotiable. There is a word in German, Feierabend, that translates roughly as the end of the working day, but it carries an emotional weight that no English equivalent quite captures. It is the moment work stops, not just physically, but mentally and socially. After Feierabend, emails go unanswered, and calls from the office go unreturned. The boundary between professional life and personal life in Germany is not blurry, not negotiable. and not subject to the whims of a demanding manager. It is a line drawn in permanent ink, respected by colleagues, expected by employees, and protected by a cultural understanding that a person's time outside of work belongs entirely to that person. The always-on work culture that has infected much of the professional world has made significantly less progress in Germany than almost anywhere else. Rule 17. The PFAN system turns rubbish into currency. Buy almost any bottled drink in Germany, and a small deposit called the Pfand is added to the price. Return empty bottles to a machine at the supermarket, and you get the deposit back. It sounds straightforward because it is. And the result is one of the highest bottle return rates on the planet, streets that stay remarkably clean, and a population that has completely internalized the idea that an empty bottle has value. There is also an unwritten social custom around this system that perfectly captures the German character. Leaving an empty bottle beside a public bin, rather than inside it, is considered a small act of generosity, a quiet gift left for someone who collects them for the deposit money. Thoughtful, practical, and completely unremarked upon. Very German. Rule 18. The apprenticeship system is as respected as university. In most countries, the path from school to meaningful employment runs through university, and any deviation from that path carries an invisible social penalty. Germany built something fundamentally different. The Ausbildung, the formal apprenticeship system, places young people inside real companies, earning real wages, learning real skills from qualified professionals for 2 to 3 years. It is rigorous, it is respected, and it produces workers who arrive on their first day of full employment already knowing what they are doing. A qualified German tradesperson is not considered to have chosen a lesser path than a university graduate. They are considered to have chosen a different one. The economy reflects this distinction. Youth unemployment in Germany sits consistently below the European average. That is not a coincidence. The deeply German rules. Rule 19. Recycling is not a choice. It is a system. German households sort their waste into multiple categories without complaint, without drama, and without needing to be reminded. Paper and cardboard go in one bin. Plastic and packaging go in the yellow bin. Glass is sorted by color into neighborhood containers. Organic waste is for composting. And everything else goes in the residual waste bin. To newcomers, the first encounter with this system feels like being handed a particularly complex examination with no time to revise. But the infrastructure is designed to make it genuinely easy once learned, and the environmental results speak for themselves. Germany's recycling rates consistently rank among the highest in the world. What looks obsessive from the outside is, from the inside, simply organized. Rule 20. The Stammtisch is a sacred institution. Walk into a traditional German pub, a Kneipe, and you will often find one table marked with a small sign or simply understood by everyone present to be the Stammtisch, the regulars' table. This is not a table you sit at without an invitation. The Stammtisch belongs to the group of regulars who have been meeting there, sometimes for decades, to talk, argue, eat, drink, and simply exist together in that particular corner of that particular room. Friendships built around a Stammtisch span generations. Debates about politics, football, local gossip, and the deep philosophical questions of the day have been conducted around these tables since the 19th century. It is one of those institutions that seems small and specific until you realize it is quietly one of the most important social structures in German community life. Rule 21. Grüß Gott, Mahlzeit, and Schweiz are entire philosophies compressed into single words. Germany has a collection of greeting rituals so specific, so contextually precise, that entire essays have been written attempting to explain them to outsiders. Mahlzeit, said around lunchtime, functions simultaneously as a greeting, a blessing over the meal, and a general acknowledgement that the midday hour has arrived. Say it in an office at noon, and it ripples back at you from every direction like a small social wave. Tschüss, the casual goodbye, carries a warmth that the word goodbye simply does not. And Grüß Gott, used predominantly in Bavaria and Austria, literally translates to greet all, which is either deeply spiritual or simply the most committed hello in any language, depending on how you look at it. These words are small, but they are stitched into the fabric of daily German life so completely that forgetting to say them feels somehow like a small act of social negligence. When you stand back and look at all 21 of these rules together, the pattern that emerges is not rigidity for its own sake. It is not coldness, or an obsession with control, or a national personality quirk that somehow escaped psychiatric attention. It is something far more interesting. It is a society that spent a very long time thinking carefully about how people can share dense, complex, interconnected lives without driving each other into the ground. The quiet hours exist because silence has value. The fan system exists because the street belongs to everyone. The Stammtisch exists because community does not happen by accident. Every rule that looks strange from the outside reveals, on closer inspection, a logic so clean and so human that you start to wonder why the rest of the world has not figured it out yet. And maybe that is the real takeaway from all of this. The rules that seem strangest to outsiders are often the ones doing the most important work. Germany did not stumble into these habits. It built them, refined them, and passed them down through generations until they became invisible, until they became just the way things are. There is something quietly remarkable about that. And there you have it. 21 rules that feel completely ordinary inside Germany and genuinely baffling everywhere else. From crosswalk etiquette to the sacred asparagus season, from the Stammtisch to the Feierabend, this country has built a way of life that rewards patience, respects shared space, and takes the small things seriously enough to make them matter. I am Noah, and this has been German Memories. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden logic of German daily life, make sure you subscribe so you never miss another video. Hit the notification bell, because we are just getting started. There is always more to discover, and in Germany, trust me, there always is.